Welcome, everybody. For those of you who have been to my channel a million times before, welcome back. I am Caffeine and Chaos, also known as the Linda. If you are new to the channel, yo, what's up? Just like I said, I'm the Linda, aka Caffeine and Chaos. Today we're going to be doing Magical Coffee Hour. It is where I, the dummy, ask this handsome guy questions about magic. And while I'm talking about this handsome guy, this is Drake, the Working Dragon Mystic. What's up, Drake?
Doing awesome. Absolutely awesome.
For those of you who are tuning into my channel, yes, I am primarily a gaming channel, but I'm also a variety channel, so I do a little bit of everything. So, yeah, welcome to the chaos. So, if you're new to this and you haven't seen the podcast before, I like to take things from a pop culture standpoint, and as a complete and total noob who knows nothing other than Harry Potter books, I'm just kidding, I don't really remember much about the Harry Potter books, but I go take some pop culture references, I throw questions based off of our topic at Drake, and he answers me to the best of his ability. If he cannot answer me to the best of his ability, he will do his research, and he will come back to me next week, and he will provide me with the answers that I want. Or, you know, we'll just completely forget.
Well, I don't promise it'll be the answers you want. I'll find the answer to the question. Whether you like the answer or not, that's your own problem.
I mean, let's be honest, I don't like very many things, so most answers may not be the answer I want. Okay, let's see here if I... Oh, hey, look, I actually am live today. That is an absolute miracle, and I think you're live too. I'm just trying to finish getting set up over here because, you know, I'm a little slow on the uptake.
That's okay.
Most days. So, going to go straight into it. Today's topic, if you can read our subject line, it is rune magic. Or if you're one of Drake's followers, you probably have the runes. Aha! So, guys, it's going to be a fun one. This is one I've been itching to do. I know Drake's been itching to do it, and I know a lot of you guys have been really curious about it. So, we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. You ready, Drake?
Yeah, just so y'all know, I normally have two computers running, and this one will not let me log into the chat. So, Linda, you're going to have to keep an eye on chat for me.
Oh, God. You're making me work today? Fine.
Chrome just had an update and like everything got booted out, and I didn't think about it on this computer.
Well, hold on a second, because for some reason your channel's not showing up for me, and that's upsetting me. Up there you are. I got you up and running.
Okay, good.
Now I can see your chat. If you have been chilling with Drake and I haven't read out your response in chat, just drop a little "Hey, what's up?" So I can see you and let him know what you're saying, and we can all say hello to you.
Yep.
Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and
hey
dive
everyone,
right in.
even though I can't see you in chat right now.
Don't worry, Drake still loves you, and if he didn't, I would beat him into submission until he loves you even more than he ever possibly could before.
So, and I did get my corrected cup. They fixed it.
Let me see that. Oh, that looks really nice. Guys, if you are interested in that, go and check out his website. He has a link to where you can get it. Plus, if you look behind him, that Dragon's Eye sigil is also on there, and that's a pretty little canvas that he's got going on. I personally love purple, black, and red, and how they go together, and it's there. It's right there. It's like that's my aesthetic. So
it was actually funny. I had a viewer email me because they ordered theirs, and they were talking about how much they loved it, and I still hadn't got my replacement from the order that was upside down. I was like, well, at least I know it looks good.
At least the customer likes it, right?
I want my cup.
Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to go over real quick what I know about runes, so we can all get a kind of a gauge as to where I'm at, because let me tell you, folks, I'm not there at all. So what I do know about runes is they are pictures, typically little stick figure looking pictures, typically related to like Norse mythology, or, you know, a lot more cultures like that focused on more earth-based magics, similar to hieroglyphs that the Egyptians used to put in their tombs. And that's pretty much it. I know each little symbol has a different meaning, and on top of that meaning, they could also have a representation as such as a letter or a number. There are many different religions or crafts that use these runes or use their own form of runes. And for anybody who doesn't understand my accent or has anything else, this is RUNES, not runs like poop. So just so we're clear, we're not talking about poop. We're talking about little pictures. We're gonna go and jump off of we've covered sigils. So first, I'm going to ask you this. What is the difference between a rune and a sigil, or are they related?
They are related. The main difference is a sigil is a single image that is, and like we covered before, you usually have two styles of sigils. One is a sigil that is channeled from an entity and works as a method of contacting the entity and like the entity's signature and its name in a symbol format. The other type of sigil is a sigil you would make using different letters, shapes, and all that you would combine to represent a larger concept in a single image. And again, that's to do sigil magic. Now, the reason runes can relate to that is each rune is a symbol that does represent a larger meaning, plus they can be used to craft sigils, though in rune magic that would be more properly termed a bind rune.
Okay. Now, I feel like in my heart we have beaten to death sigils.
You would think so.
So I promise I'm not gonna turn this into a runes versus sigils conversation, but just to make sure that I'm understanding what we have talked about in the past about sigils is you can literally make them out of anything or anything based upon your intentions for its purpose. So now that things have cooled off, no pun intended on that, with the Australian fires, I'm so thankful to see that, there's a lot of work going on to recover and move forward. Ani,
hey, wait, it showed up. Ani, you showed up in chat. I can't write, but I can see it. It won't let me message, but I can see when they type.
Well, that's fine. You don't need to type anyways.
I suck at typing. Suck at typing.
So anyways, there was a sigil that somebody had created that practitioners were using in their crafts to try to, I'm trying not to make a joke out of this. It's very hard for me not to do so. But ultimately beckon purifying rains to come and help take care of the fire that was in Australia. That sigil was created from the imagery of water, rain, and the word rain itself. And some of them even crafted the continent/country of Australia and its image into it to base upon like prayers and everything of that nature and chants and setting their intentions. Now, what I'm kind of understanding about runes is that they are, you can use them in the same kind of scenario where you can create your own runes, but they are also kind of a singular like thing. It's not a complex, multi-dimensional piece. It's more of a singular piece. Am I catching that correctly?
Sort of, because they're the singular, but they're also the multi-dimensional complex also.
And that's what we're going to get into today. But at least I'm tracking a little bit better. Okay.
The runes are far larger. Most people approach the runes as a system of divinations. That's it. And at that point, you've not even scratched the surface. Because in Norse sorcery, the simple definition of the runes would be they are all the powers of the multiverse in 24 symbols. And you can harness all that power using these runes.
So I'm going to take every tiny bit of information I know about runes, and I'm going to show you my entire thing of research on it. I'm trying to find it right now. Apparently, my dumbass has lost it. How did I lose it? I apparently lost one of my favorite games right now.
A game?
Yep. I just totally blew it. I'm sure there's somebody who's watching this, whether this be past, present, or future, watching this. They probably already know what I'm talking about. I can't find it.
What's
I
the
don't
game?
know how I can't find it. Why can't I even think of the name of the game? I don't even see it on my shelf, and this is upsetting me very much. But anyways, I'm a terrible gamer apparently, and have no clue what games I play anymore. Okay, well, I don't know where my game is. Yes. Why am I am drawing a blank as to the name of the game.
Moving on.
So anyways, everything that I know about runes comes from that game because it draws so heavily from Norse mythology. Specifically, you got Kratos. You got his son.
God of War.
Thank you! God of War. Why am I not seeing it on my shelf?
I haven't played that one yet, though I want to. Apparently it's a whole new storyline in the Norse worlds, but yeah.
It is amazing, and I'm
But
wondering if
I don't know how they use the runes, but I will say this. The mythology, just like the Greek mythology, they don't stick to story at all. They're all over the place. So
okay, so
they changed it up a lot to write a good story for a game.
I will wholeheartedly agree with you on that, just because of what I do know about a lot of Norse mythology. Yeah, it doesn't follow anything of the legends. But anyways, they rely on runes throughout the game. Oh, I think actually Paul has it downstairs. That's why I'm not seeing it on my shelf.
It's all Paul's fault. We're blaming Paul now.
Paul! I love you. Anyways, the game relies heavily on rune magic, and based upon the types of runes that you collect and you see and you transcribe will basically lend to you your abilities that you can unlock. And I know that there are a lot of other video games. One that my viewers who have been on my channel have seen me play, Dark Cloud. Runes also represent different elements that you can add to your weaponry. So your weapon can actually have different metaphysical properties, such as strong against fire, strong against ice, strong against death, strong against all these different things. So in regards to runes, how true is that as far as using runes to basically, I guess, bless weaponry? We're going to go with that first. So
That's actually
and equipment.
That was a common use of them, or at least we believe it was a common use that Norse sorcerers would use runes to bless weapons and armor. And the reason we have that belief is there is a lot of rune stabs and rune spells that are carved into weapons that we have found. And as best as we can translate them and everything, they were to increase prowess in battle. So, yes, they can be used in that way. In fact, I use them myself in that way. There's a few people who are aware of this, but, well, a lot of people's going to be aware of it now. But in my hat that I wear most of the time, I have a set of protection runes and a Golder's staff that I have written onto a piece of felt and tucked it into the hat band. So the hat actually acts as magical armor anytime I'm out and about.
So I will make sure not to fuck with your hat anymore. I'll be nicer about it.
Oh, you're not going to hurt
it. Or it may just tempt me to steal it more. So, y'all, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. I am going to be a lot slower and a lot dumber today. This is not me playing around. I decided to work late last night and then go for a 10K race. And if anything you need to know about me, I'm very competitive with myself, and I push myself way too hard a lot. and I did it a little too hard today. I'm really sore, really tired, and I might fall asleep on you. If I do, just keep on listening to Drake. Ignore me. That is the best advice I can give you for today. So one thing, I guess I'm not 100% dumb to runes. I do have slight personal experience with them, but it's because of Drake. So he may not even remember this because he is such a good friend. Like,
I'm like, what I do?
So one thing that you have to know about Drake, and he'll tell me I'm a big liar for like revealing the secret, but I don't care. Once you have entered his inner circle of friendship and you have become a friend of his and like a family member to him, like he will do everything he can to try to ease any sort of pain or anything you're going through at any time if he can help you. So like I was talking to him, kind of like just going to him for, I need to vent, I need to get shit out of my head before I end up like punching a wall or something. And he had a specific rune he wanted me to focus on. Do you remember this? This was like a year ago. I was very pissed off about my new job.
It's foggy, but I seem to remember something, yeah.
I can't remember the rune, but you sent me a picture of it, and you told me to focus on it. You gave me the pronunciation of it, and you told me to focus on it and, chant it over and over and over again until I felt better. And I won't deny, I actually felt better. Now, was it because of that specific rune? Am I a Pisces or is he a Pisces?
No, I'm not a Pisces.
I actually do not behave anywhere near... Oh, I just saw the Drake portion. I need to move my computer over.
I am an Aquarius. But that said, as much as I do live logically in my mind, I don't know my astrology, but whatever my sun sign is, that's that whole warrior protective aspect that constantly keeps coming out. And I'm really protective of my close friends and family. So she's not lying there. Once you're in that inner circle, I'll kill myself to help you.
And he's really good about it. So my question about that, and I think we actually had a conversation about it, but like you, my brain, I don't remember what I did this morning half the time. Like, you could ask me, hey, how was lunch? I'd be like, did I even eat lunch today?
I get hit in the head a lot. I forget shit.
Yeah. So anyways, that specific rune, you said it was one that was meant to bring peace. Is it because of the vibrations from the sound that when you're pronouncing it? Is it because that is what that rune's intended purpose is? Is it the intention behind the rune? What was the purpose of said rune magic that you had me focusing on?
Okay, I bet it was Winyo.
That was it.
Which is peace, well-being, joy, and harmony. Those are usually the key words used to describe Winyo. And there's a lot of debate on this, but the basic ideal is that these runes, they're not just symbols, they are entire spells in and of themselves. Now, when we say the key words, that was if you were to condense down an entire library of Alexandria into 4 words, that's what we mean by key words, because one rune could be expanded out to fill an entire library. But it does count as a spell in and of itself. Now, both the symbol can act as a spell that can be carved or drawn onto a surface. But then there is an entire section of Norse magic referred to as Golder. And when you speak and vibrate the name of the rune, that is actually Golder magic. So when you hear them talk about Goldering a rune, it's that vibrating. You're literally casting that spell as you vibrate it.
Well, guys, I guess I've been lying to you about me and not doing magic, because apparently I've been doing magic, and it's all because of Drake.
It's
Thanks,
actually
Drake.
amazing. Norse sorcery, in a lot of ways, it seems so simple, at least in rune magic. I mean, it gets very, very complex. On the surface, it looks simple. But
I agree with you, Ani.
Death is
If
bad.
he decided to go off and kill himself, or he got murdered or something, I would start learning necromancy very quickly. I'm pretty sure his wife Seffi would also be on top of that with me, because we'd force him to come back against his will.
With all the spicy food I eat, everybody says my stomach's already a lich.
I mean,
but it can be very simple, and I've also noticed it works. It's some of the fastest working magic, but it does very much take root here in the real world. It's a fascinating system. Now, they have a separate section of magic which is called seed magic. Far more complicated, a bit more tricky.
Now, when you say seed, do you mean like sunflower seeds?
No, seed.
Oh, seed with a TH.
Actually, it's DH, but yeah.
Oh. So seed, like a seed.
No, it's pronounced. Yeah, it's pronounced similar to the TH.
Got you.
But yeah, when you're doing that Goldring, you are casting that spell. And a lot of people even do the Goldring while they're carving them.
Okay.
Because you do need to activate a rune.
So when you say you need to activate it, is it activated specifically through the seeding, or is it activated via speaking it, or is it activated by the drawing of it? Is it activated by your focus on it?
It can.
How does one activate?
You need to put energy into it. Now, traditionally, the big ways of activating them are through spoken sound, which, if you look at many magical systems, sound and voice is a powerful thing. I mean, even in the Bible, God didn't do a bunch of ritual. He just spoke it.
And then it was.
Yes. So even there, you're seeing the power of vocalization. So when you're carving it, you can actually be channeling energy into it as you're carving it. But traditionally, you needed to add something more to it. And there's what's usually referred to as blooding a rune. And this is actually adding your blood to the spell when you cast it. Though in Norse mythology or Norse culture, they would use blood and or saliva. Saliva had just as much power in their culture as blood. So if you're queasy about blood, you can use spit.
Going back to that conversation I had about the anime and the succubi that could utilize any form of human life force that could be found inside the body.
Yes, you could also do that if you wanted. In fact, in certain rune spells, that would even be preferred. Currently, we do have two major standings of runes. We have the Elder Futhark, which consists of 24 runes. And then we have what's known as the Younger Futhark, which consists of 18 runes. Now, the Younger Futhark, some of the runes that are missing double up onto the other runes. So all of the representations are there, it's just fewer symbols. Some people like it. For me, the way they're doubling them up, it gets a bit more confusing for me. I do prefer the Elder Futhark, because I like having those extra symbols. It's more feels more organized. And traditionally, in all the lore I've found, it seems the 24 came first. But I've heard people argue the 18 came first, even though they're called the Younger. So I don't know. But again, you're talking about... I am brilliant. Thank you. But whichever set you decide to work with, you are going to be diving into these complexities. So, first off, you have to understand each rune has multiple meanings and functions as its own individual spell. And then you get into bind runes. And this is where you actually combine individual runes to create a new spell. that embodies the powers of all the runes used to construct it.
She wants to know, do they definitely frown on spitting?
No, they don't frown on spitting at all. I said some people frown on it, but Norse culture, it was the same as blood. In fact, the blood, you could do the blood brother ritual with spit instead of blood in the Norse culture, because
just like in the Goonies.
Yeah, technically the Goonies really got that right, because instead of cutting their hands, which I mean you could do, but you could also just spit in your hand, and that's still creating that genetic bond, making you brother or family.
I remember doing that in middle school with my friends.
There's power behind that action.
I'm not friends with most of them anymore.
In fact, one of the divination techniques that Freya teaches, it deals with water. And it was the weirdest thing, because she had me gathering the water on, and then she's like, spit in it. I'm like, what? That's when I learned spit was a thing. But
I want to take a moment to say my cat's got her fancy paws on, and it makes me happy. That brings me joy. She's being fancy for you, Drake.
Yay! She loves me. I don't know why. Dude, things just made a lot of sense. Yep!
Hey.
And see, there's one of those cases where pop culture got something right. They may not have known why it was a thing, but it was a thing, and it does work. Okay, so
now I have like 2 million questions that in regards to stuff like that, but I don't want to like go off the track of runes just yet. So,
okay.
Especially since I have a grand question for you, but I'm going to save that question for last.
Okay.
Before we open up for like just bullshit questions.
Okay.
No question is bullshit questions. Most of my questions become bullshit questions of me just throwing shit out there. Okay, so my next question is, when it comes to using rune magic, are there any kind of specific rituals that need to be put into place, such as we have already talked about how you cannot make paths without, learning evocation. You gotta crawl before you can run, kind of thing. So crawl, walk, run system. Is there anything like with rune magic? Is there any kind of specific rituals you should probably be getting into? Some types of things that you should be taking into consideration first, or is it basically, and I don't want to call it the easiest setup or anything like that, but you can just jump right in the pool and start swimming?
It's a little bit.
I just flick them.
It's a little bit of both, because, like I said, on the surface, rune magic is a very simple system, because you can carve your spell into the wood, you can charge it with your intent, spell done. Or you can have someone golder and intone the runes and still get the effect, like I did with you. And you weren't even fully aware you were casting a spell. All I said was, visualize this in your mind, say this 9 times.
Yeah, it was more of shut up, do what I say kind of thing.
So,
but,
and I mean, if you think about it, other than the fact that I used the magical system, my instructions could have just as well been pat your head while rubbing your belly. And in some ways, what I told you to do is easier. So the power's there to be tapped into very, very easily. Now, it can get very, very complex. Now, is there do you need to do a massive circle casting or anything like that? With rune magic, no. One of my favorite things about rune magic and Norse sorcery is it's literally magic on the go. It is one of the simplest systems, as complex as it is, I've not found anything I can't do with it. But at the same time, no matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, I can access it. Whereas like ceremonial magic, you got to have your circles, you got to have your tools, you got to do all your fancy rituals. And like if I'm in a hotel room, ceremonial magic, I have done ceremonial magic in a hotel room. Not the easiest thing to do, however.
I feel like the energies inside a hotel room would be all kinds of fucky.
You can fix
and
that.
Why 9? Just make sure you bring plenty of sage, everybody.
Why 9? Okay, 9 is an extremely powerful number in general, but especially in Norse culture. And you got to remember, these runes are coming from that culture, so they're going to vibrate energetically with that culture's cosmology. In Norse culture, the entire cosmos was built around the world tree and the 9 realms. So 9 is kind of the number of everything.
Okay. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I have a countdown calendar for when I leave this island on my my work whiteboard, and I write a random fact because people keep getting in trouble for having countdown calendars of 900 days till I leave, blah blah blah. So people have found sneaky ways to do it. So my countdown calendar is random facts about numbers. And number 9, that was actually one of my random facts, was that it is a powerful number in magic.
Yes, it is. It is a very powerful number.
Fun fact for the day. I brought the Magickal coffee hour to work with me, just so you guys know. That is how dedicated I am to all of you.
Nice, nice. Love it. So, and with that, that's usually why I do try to do my Golder 9 times. Now, that said, people's like, well, what if I get lost in the Golder and I do it more than 9, or I lose count? Awesome. If you enter into that meditative state to the point where you lose focus of count because your focus is on the spell, that's great. Because both your conscious and your subconscious has just said, fuck counting, we're just doing it. And that is a magical state to be in.
I like that a lot, honestly.
So 9 is kind of like, if you hand someone a benchmark, it's like, I need you to do at least this.
Hey, Oxbear!
But if you drop into trance and keep on going, we're groovy. Hey, Ox, man, long time no see.
Okay, so I guess my next question about runes. Are there any kind of rune emblems that should be avoided? So I know, like with sigils, I know I said I was going to try my best to stay away from sigils, but, you know, I'm trying to make connections, connect the dot, and, you know, going back to Sabrina, Teenage Witch, Season 3, Part 3, whatever you want to call it, one of the episodes specifies sigils that basically block energy, block the effects of magic in or out, or outward moving instead of inward moving. So my question is, are there any runes that have that similar effect, or any kind of runes that would be considered dark, menacing, bad, overly chaotic, or should typically be avoided?
All 24 of them.
Okay.
See, here's the thing, and this is what modern culture doesn't understand. All 24 runes have a positive side. All 24 runes have a negative side. All depends on how you want to use its power. So, for example, we was talking about Winyo or earlier. Joy, harmony, well-being. Those are the key words. Okay, well, those 3 key words, most people's like, well, this rune's awesome. There's nothing bad about it. Remember, it possesses the opposite of those key words. That means you can literally use it to destroy harmony. You can destroy it to take well-being away. And you can use it, you know, to remove joy. It would highly depend on how you used it. Now, would it be the best for negative workings? Well, no, because by and large, it is considered a positive rune. So, you do have to manipulate it, but it can be done. Most people actually turn to Thoraz for any type of cursing work, which this has also been debated in the rune community, because Thoraz is actually viewed as Thor's rune. But the Thoraz were also the giants. And it is a very aggressive rune. It is considered the thorn. And because it is a thorn, it can stab you. So it is a very aggressive rune. But it really depends on how you want to choose to use the individual rune and the individual spell, or the combination of them in the case of a rune staff or a bind rune. Which, just so we know, a rune staff is when you carve a rune spell out in a line. So it's multiple runes in a line. Whereas a bind rune, you're combining multiple runes into a single rune symbol.
Okay. So let me see here. Because, like I said, as far as pop culture goes, it's kind of strange to me the amount of Norse mythology that is coming out in pop culture, right? You've got like books that are English is hard. You have books that are set in like Viking times. You have so much like Viking lore coming out, and so many Viking facts that are like all around BuzzFeed and all over the internet. You have games that like, focus on, different forms of Norse lore. You have movies, you have superheroes. I mean, granted, Thor has been around for like 1970s, 60s,
60s or 70s.
Yeah, he's one of the older comic book characters that really hit it big time storyline wise. You have a lot, and I know that there aren't just Norse runes, but they are the most commonly talked about. So, I mean, and being that you do focus a lot of your craft towards Norse magic, I know you do a lot more than that. I will not say that is all you do.
No.
So I would say that you do predominantly do Norse-related magic. But I know that that's where your expertise, if you will, lies the most. That's why I'm bringing up more Norse-related. What other cultures or what other crafts utilize the use of runes? And I know I said I would avoid this, but runes over sigils.
Over sigils? That's kind of tricky, because some people might actually consider hieroglyphs a type of rune, and then there's people who consider them sigils because they're more of a picture that has a meaning to itself as opposed to just a singular symbol. Hebrew, the Hebrew alphabet. Each of those letters in the Hebrew alphabet has meaning behind them and power behind them. So the Hebrew alphabet is actually similar in construct. Hold on a second. Silly question. In the video game Diablo, spelling out runes create different abilities.
That's actually very creative, Ani.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. It was either Diablo 2. They had runes in Diablo 2, and they brought them back in 3. It just wasn't the same. But yeah, that would be similar to a rune staff. Let me think here. So, let's say you wanted to increase the force of your attacks against an enemy in battle. And we're talking Viking Age here, so we're thinking swords and shields. Now, you want your shield to be able to repel that attack back so that any force that comes at you is actually going to jar and shock your opponent more. while at the same time you want your sword to be able to deliver more force. Easy rune there would be Thoraz, because it's actually all about that projection of energy outward. So that would be a great rune for both of these items. Now, you could also add in Isa, which is actually the rune of ice, and it's about stasis, it's about stopping. So you could actually add both of those in combination in a rune staff to your weapon, so not only are you hitting them with that extra force, but you're adding like a stunning effect to startle them and slow them down. Or even just bring them to a grinding halt. Of course, at that point, then you just kill them with your sword, because now they're not moving, they're an easy kill. Now they really ain't moving. But yeah, you could do that.
I wasn't calling you, asshole. Okay, so fun question, because, we've brought up swords and shields and weaponry and using runes to protect and make you a better warrior. Well, kind of gather that's kind of what they want whenever you're putting that on.
They would even carve them into their teeth.
That sounds absolutely horrible. I don't want to think about carving stuff into my teeth. Nope. I already have an issue with breaking teeth, so no. Anyway, so what is the purpose if, warrior number 1, warrior number 2 both have runes of similar natures, going into battle, and they're both, rocking the same runes, and they fight? So how does the outcome, how is that determined as far as...
By the strength and the will of the warrior.
Okay.
You got to remember, you're looking at a culture that's not only based on magic, but it's based on self-reliance of the person. So, yes, magically, if you come to a complete balance, you're straight back to now the strength and will and skill of the warrior is all that matters.
Okay. If you're saying you'll carve runes in your teeth, more power to you, friendo. Like,
You see, I've done some crazy. No, I don't think carving into my teeth. I don't even. Ugh, the sound of the drill at the dentist bothers me.
Well, that kind of brings me to my next question, and it's my big question, and it's actually something that I posed to you a while back, and I'm sure you knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly what I'm going to ask you?
I have an idea.
Drake. Old buddy, old pal, friend of mine. He is the strongest wins. I like to believe he who is the most annoying will be victor, but that's just me. Anyways, Drake, old buddy, old pal, friend of mine, of shit going on like 9 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I think we just had our Facebook friendiversary for 9 years on Facebook. We have been Facebook official for 9 years.
Yay.
What the hell do the runes on your arm mean?
Yep, I knew that was coming.
Inquiring minds want to know.
That particular tattoo?
Mm-hmm. That one.
It is the Nordic equivalent of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. It is literally, the runes are broke up into 3 rows. All 24 runes are placed in one row in an order, and that order is also associated with their number. That is the order.
So that's
all 24 runes in order in each of the rune rows.
That's the Elder runes.
That is the Elder Futhark, and they're in my handwriting.
They're in what handwriting?
My handwriting. So we didn't just. Well, I actually write better in runic than I do English. The tattoo artist actually made sure I went and wrote each of the runes, and she duplicated my handwriting verbatim. So every little discrepancy in my hand slanting this way or that way is in it. Now, I'm sure the next question is, why the hell did you do that?
I now have the ABC song in my head now. Thanks a lot, Adam.
You're welcome. And no, they're not in English alphabetical order, but
they're in Viking alphabetical order.
they are. They are. Now, the reason I did that is, remember what I said at the beginning of this episode. They are individual spells that combined contain every spell and ability and power in the multiverse. That's my traveling spell book.
I like it.
I have a reference, and I can actually invoke and empower these individually as I go to directly empower me even further. I don't have to worry about having a pin. So, like if I wanted, like we were talking about the Winyo, I can actually, I've already got it carved in me, and you can't say it's not blooded because, believe me, these things were bleeding when I got them done. Yeah, so it's literally my own little rune spell book right on my arm.
So my next question in regards to that is, obviously really dumb. But whenever you're practicing and you need like a very specific one and you need to focus on it, do you take a pen and you go, I really need Winyo today? You and me, buddy. We got this.
No, actually, I'll look at it, I'll focus on it, and I will place my hand on it. Because I don't know if you've ever noticed this. I know you have tattoos. But
six,
if
five?
you feel them, you can actually feel the texture of the ink on them.
I have 5 tattoos now.
So,
I had to think about that.
I mean, it's very subtle, but compared to just your bare skin, there is a difference. So I can pay attention to that, and I just look at it, focus on it, and I will place my finger on it, singling it out.
I was supposed to say, you have a big arm and big hand, and those aren't that big of characters. I know you're not putting your whole hand on a single line. Maybe your finger.
Yeah, the finger. That's like my point.
Your finger's about as big as my hand by itself.
Well, that's why it took Will so long to do this sleeve. I've actually done the scratching it into my skin trick. I have. Which I usually have.
As a Twitch streamer and as somebody who also uses YouTube, Caffeine and Chaos, Working Dragon Mystica does not recommend using just any household tools for inscribing things into your skin due to the fact that you can have bacterial infections or blood-borne pathogens spread. So if you are going to put anything into your skin, please make sure you are doing so professionally and using clean tools and under the guidance of a professional. Please and thank you.
Yeah.
That is our real disclaimer.
Yeah. That's just
our
covering our butts there.
Legal disclaimer before you go into talking about that.
Yeah. And honestly, if it comes to any occult tattoo, please go to a reputable tattoo artist. Always.
Make sure that they have a certificate that says that they are certified through your state, due to the fact that there are a lot of crappy people, and you'll have an ugly tattoo just like actually, the guy did have a certificate. He was just high as fuck when he did my tattoo.
I actually know a guy who got a tattoo the size of a quarter, but he got it in a garage, and it went so septus, he had to get his arm amputated.
Ew. Do you have a reliable source for the pronunciation? I'm assuming she means the runic pronunciations.
That can be tricky because, again, you're talking about a culture where the pronunciations do have variance even based within that culture. So, through the ages, the Nordic language, even its pronunciation shifted some. Even the regional dialects would shift some. So there is a bit of a problem there. But, let's see. I'm trying to think. One book that I do like, which I have here, if you can find it, this is actually one of the harder books to find. It's called The RUNES Workbook. You see that?
By Leon D. Wild?
Yep. Now, this guy's a member of the Runes Guild. They do all the research and all the historicals and all that. And it's a pretty fascinating little book, but it is a little hard to find. Then there's two more I recommend. Give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Now, the other one, probably everyone knows it. I think everyone's read it. It's by Edward Thorson. It's called Futhart, The Handbook of Rune Magic. He covers the subject pretty well. He goes into Golder. He even goes into alternate ways of writing the runes to disguise what they are. But if you pick up just one book on the runes and you're wanting an in-depth study, I really do have to recommend Taking Up the Runes by Diana L. Paxson.
And that just sounds like an innuendo that's waiting to happen, and I'm trying my best to,
Yeah. And the reason I recommend this one is in magic we talk about gnosis a lot. Well, this book, each rune is talked about by 2 or 3 rune workers each. So you get 3 perspectives on the rune, the meaning of the rune, and how it can be used, which is just extremely fascinating. Because the runes are not as simple as the 3 key words. For example, my students, when I teach rune magic, my first rune class I taught them, it's like, here, learn these 3 key words. This is your starting point. But I would actually have them do a 9-day path working on each rune, where I had them doing meditations and rituals just with that rune, to commune with the rune and to learn directly from it about its meanings and its abilities. So every one of my students coming out of this rune class, yes, they have those basic key words, they have a solid knowledge of the runes, but they also have a runic notebook that's unique to them. So when it comes to the pronunciations, do your research, find what the best you can. And I know some runes, they even switch up the names, which can get really annoying. But find a system and a pronunciation that works with you really well and go with it. Just try to make sure it's as accurate as you can get. Because, Ani, there's one rune, I know me and you talked about it, where that rune has 2 names. When I was learning, I was always taught one name of it, and I want to say it was, I think it's the Elhaz rune. Yeah, I learned it as Elhaz. And a lot of people pronounce it Augies. And I cannot ever pronounce that as Augies. So I'll be in a conversation, and somebody will mention Augies. I'm like, wait, what? And I just can't quite place it. And then they draw it, and it's like, oh yeah, that one. So when it comes to the pronunciations, you got to remember, in olden days, even on the same island, that island had different communities, and things would differentiate between the communities.
Sort of like different dialects. So, like, take America, for instance.
Yeah.
I don't know where everybody's from.
Or Japan.
Yeah.
In Japan, they don't speak Chinese. They speak regional Japanese. Or they don't speak Chinese. No, duh. They don't speak Japanese. They speak regional Japanese. And you can actually, a person who's familiar can actually tell you what region of Japan they're from by the dialect they're speaking.
Yeah. I was just going to use all the different accents we have in America, since, we all speak English. And, the Queen's language of English is completely different from American English. And even each dialect within America is different.
Yeah, even
like,
within the same state, it differs.
Yeah, Tennessee, for example, you got 3 main parts of Tennessee. You got Eastern Tennessee, Western Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee. I'm from Middle Tennessee. Most of the people in my neck of the woods are fairly, like, accent-free. Like, there's a Southern accent, but it's not a very...
It's not thick and heavy.
It's thick, but it's understandable. If you go more Eastern Tennessee, you get a lot more twang, and you get a lot, like, more... you get more mountain dialect, and then when you go Western Tennessee, everybody kind of forgets about Western Tennessee, and I think they are the ones that typically do a lot of cracks, so there's a lot of brain cell. No, I'm just kidding. But Western Tennessee, they have a completely different dialect as well, and I've talked to people from Western Tennessee, and I'm like, where are you from? Tennessee. No, really, where are you from? No, I'm from Tennessee. Are you sure, friend? I don't.
It's funny. My accent is so muddled that people can't place my Southern. And I've only had 2 people my whole life who's ever, well, I would say was most accurate to my Southern. And one of them said, "You was raised by a trucker." And the other asked if my dad was a trucker. And the reason being, he knew I was Southern, but there were so many different pieces of so many Southern dialects, the only rationale they could pick up was I had to have traveled enough to pick it all up when I was younger. And they was accurate.
See, I don't really have much of a... I don't project an accent anymore because I fought so hard to hide it when I was younger. The only time it really comes out is if I've been talking to family from back home, or anybody with a really thick Southern accent, or if I'm tired, or really pissed off or drunk. And usually those last 3 things go hand in hand. So, yeah.
That's Raven. Her accent don't come out until she's mad.
I mean,
I don't know what triggers mine. I do know when I'm around Southerners it comes out more. But
it comes out a lot when you're drinking. I know that much. When we were having mead, I definitely heard it come out. It came out pretty thick. And I was like, aw, and he hasn't even had that much to drink. That's cute.
Which is weird because alcohol don't affect me, so I'm wondering why that would happen.
Maybe it was my inner Southerner was calling out to your inner Southerner.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, that could just be my... I think my accent came out pretty hard when we first moved here because I was just so happy to be back in the South.
That could also be.
You did visit pretty soon after we got back.
It's true, and it made me so happy to see you guys.
But did that help answer your question, Ani? I know it wasn't a direct yes, go here. You'll find the pronunciation. But honestly, those 3 books are the best 3 books that I have found on them at this point.
I'm out of bang.
Yeah, what?
I'm out of bang.
What's bang? Oh, it's an energy drink.
There was a splash in there.
I thought you had trouble with hurting your teeth. Sounds like you just chipped one.
No, I just tried to drown myself. It went up my nose. I'm dying. SOS, send help.
Ox, I'll be honest with you. My brother's trying to drag me down to South Carolina right now.
I can go to either one of the Carolinas right this second. Don't tempt me.
So, right now my work's got me pretty much stuck, and now he's threatening to come visit me and bring all the kids.
Oh, that hurt. It's burning my nose.
It went up your nose?
This is why I could, when I went to tilt it, like I wasn't over my mouth apparently, and it just went straight up my nose. This is why I could never do drugs or any nasal required drugs. My nose is too sensitive for that shit.
Well, it's only a minor injury.
Injury.
Yeah.
Death is bad, okay? All right.
Actually, that's a matter of perspective.
Okay, it's bad for those of us who are left with the burden of mourning, okay?
Well, that would be a perspective. Because you got to realize that death is the process of something ending and something beginning. Anything that's in transition and change is dying in some respects.
I mean, I'm dying every day on the inside. But we are at the end of the Magical Coffee Hour. So, anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, we got any questions?
Questions not necessarily needed to be related to rune magic. Anything that you want to ask either one of us. Like, why is Drake so awesome? Why am I so stupid? Like, whatever you have to...
It just comes naturally. I can't help it.
Whatever you guys want to know, please let us know now before I turn it over to Drake to tell us all about his upcoming projects. Oh, it hurts.
See, this episode won't be called Rune episode. It's going to be called the one where Linda snorted energy drink.
So,
remember that time Linda snorted energy drink?
So, fun fact, I have done that. Not entirely intentionally.
Well, you're doing better than me.
It was not 100% intentional. I went to go and take a sniff of the energy drink powder that I got, and my dumb ass didn't realize how close the powder was to the edge, and when I went to sniff it, because it smelled delicious like cherries, I got like a nose full of powder, and it was like, woo!
Yeah. See, I'll tell you why you're doing better than me. And for all those people who's commented on my videos and called me wise, intelligent, and smart, I'm about to prove y'all wrong. I might be well studied, but I'm an idiot. We were doing hot sauce shooters one night. About 6 of us had 4 or 5 different hot sauces. We were pouring shots out and doing shooters and seeing who would fold first. Now, there was money on the table here. We're placing bets. I'm winning. And everyone decided to go double or nothing to get their money back on me. I did the math. Double or nothing meant I would get right around $1,000. The bet was I snort 1 whole shot of traditional Tabasco sauce up my nose.
Why? Well, how much did you get for it?
I got my $1,000 for it.
Oh, okay, 1,000.
They did pay double because I'm an idiot. Let me tell you, don't ever do that.
No. I will tell you about...
I was in the floor screaming and crying while asking for my money. It was awful. Don't do it.
Remind me to tell you the stories of when Paul has pepper gassed me. Ooh, I kind of have some answers to your question, if you don't mind. Mr.
No, let's see what you got.
Okay, so after our stream of about Hecate, I did do a little bit more research because she was a deity that I was very interested in learning about a while ago. So the differences between the two of them is they actually have a more or less a partnership, I guess, or a not symbolic. What is it whenever there's something that's a parasite, but it doesn't hurt the
symbiotic
host? There you go. Symbiotic relationship. So Hecate is all
the hot sauce snorter has to tell her this.
Yeah, see? I told you I'm tired. So anyways, Hecate, she's all about, hashtag girl power, hashtag strong independent woman. Persephone being that she is the goddess who ended up getting tricked into marrying Hades. And, she between the seasons, she goes down to Hades. She spends some of her time there, and then she comes up, and then she lives on Earth. Well, Hecate is basically her guide between the underworld and Earth. She is her protector as she goes back and forth between the two places. She kind of self-appointed herself that so, to keep Persephone from getting stuck and trapped down there, and to help fulfill the requirements that she agreed with Hades. So that's kind of my my drunk history like answer for that, even though there's no drunkenness going on right now.
No, that's actually pretty good and pretty accurate. The only two things that I would
My
tweak is she wasn't tricked into marrying Hades. She actually wanted to.
Depends on which ethos you go with, because it was
Now
more or less
the eating of the food thing that was a problem. But and Hecate is in most of the myths I read, she's less of a protector and more of helping Persephone adjust to the underworld, because it is a very different experience, and she's kind of always there at her side, helping her in those little things. I mean, I'm sure protection's a part of it as well, but it's not the major thing.
she do protect, because she is like one of the few entities who has the ability to traverse between the underworld and Earth safely.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the case. And it never states whether Hecate stays in the underworld the whole time Persephone's there, or just that, because we know Hades granted her access so that she could help Persephone. So as I understood it, she travels back and forth as Persephone needs. But
like twice a year.
Well, I mean, she could be bored, and Hades is out feeding the dog, and she wants somebody to talk to, so she could call Hecate up.
And I mean, if you want to be really, like, get really down and dirty with the needs, so Hecate is Sheik from Legend of Zelda, and not Sheik, Impa from Legend of Zelda, and Persephone is Zelda. Just, fun little tie-in. Has absolutely no actual correlation with each other, but I'm going to make it happen because I'm a huge Zelda nerd. It's my one true passion in life.
Okay, now I have to ask, are you just drawing that correlation, or is that actually a design correlation that was meant to be?
No, that was me making shit up.
Okay,
like,
okay.
Right.
They've done stuff like that, so I had to ask.
So for Hecate, one of the big things that she does when she comes into people's life, again, this is my own personal research that I did between back then and then after our podcast, is that she likes to come into the life of those who are at a crossroads within their lives, because that is one of her biggest things, is that she is, yes, madam, she's the goddess of crossroads, and 3-point crossroads specifically, if I remember correctly. Am I right on that one? Is it 3-point crossroads?
Well, it's generally crossroads in general.
Okay, just crossroads.
But she is referred to as a triple goddess, so usually her crossroads symbol is drawn as a 3. But a crossroad is a crossroad is a crossroad.
Don't ever get a cat. I love you. Yeah.
So, I mean, you leave an offering for her at a 4-way crossroad, she ain't gonna mind.
Factuals. Hey, what are you doing? My cat loves you. I don't know why. She's never even met you. Everybody, this is my cat Lily.
I blame Freya.
What's the 3? The maiden, the crone, and the mother.
Yep.
That is her threefold.
Yeah. For a lot of triple goddesses, it also refers to the moon. And some people do apply that to Hecate, but in my research, Hecate don't really hold up to the 3 moons, mainly because of that whole true moon thing she has.
Isn't she about the new moon?
Yeah.
See, I remember...
Because she cops a tood when it comes to reliance on anything else, and any other phase of the moon is a reflection of the sun, and she's all about that self-reliance. So in her opinion, the true moon is the moon with no sun. It's like, I am independent.
She is a strong, independent goddess. She don't need no sun to brighten her day. Okay. Cat. I'm so glad I brushed you out earlier, because...
So, yeah.
I'm starting to get itchy-faced. All right. Now, here comes the fun part. Drake, tell us about your upcoming week. What videos are you making? What Manny? Like manicure?
Manny is the god of the moon in Norse mythology.
Okay, I was like, wait a second, Manny? Like,
And he actually does represent all the moons. The moon in all its phases. Because the lore is he's actually pulling the moon across the sky. So anytime the moon's in the sky, which is every night, Manny's there. So.
okay, so what do you got coming up this week?
This week, Tuesday, we are releasing the video that we promised that if we hit 500 subs in February, which we did, I went into my private grimoire. We found a water dragon, its sigil, and we're doing a video all about that water dragon. We're giving his sigil out, what he can be used, how you can work with him, all those things. Of course, we do have the live stream every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have filmed, edited, and uploading the part 2 to how to make a PAX video, which will be coming the following week. Everybody's been bugging me about that one. It's coming. And best of all, the Dragon Magic 101 class is in filming and is on schedule for release in mid-April. So as long as we hit no delays, that class will be live on the school site mid-April. And of course, we've also released the Dragon's Eye Seal canvases for ritual work and stuff that can be ordered.
I love it. So
That's
I think
my week in a nutshell.
I like it. All right, so I think we're actually over by 12 minutes, but that's awesome. I love the conversations we had today. I did not enjoy having Bang go up my nose. That was absolutely terrible.
We found it funny.
You might have found it funny. They may have found it funny. I, on the other hand, do not find it funny because, like, you know that, like, post-nasal drip you get, like, in the back of your throat? Yeah, it tastes like pina colada right now. I don't know how I feel about that.
I like pina colada.
Did you just break something? What? Did you just break something?
I'm grabbing the recycling bin.
Okay, sorry about that. I thought something happened to my husband. Thought he died or something. I don't know. Anyway, or he's killing people. I don't know. Anyway, I'm good. It'll eventually get out of my system or something. Probably when I'm not paying attention. Yeah, today was great. I enjoyed it. I'm glad to finally know what your runes are all about. And you're right, it did make me laugh, especially since you decided to throw your ABCs in there. And, yeah.
A lot of people have tried to figure out what they say, and I've even got emails of people who's tried to pause the videos. And it's kind of sad because it's literally just the runes in order.
That makes me giggle. All right, so... for those of you who are just joining us, who have been sitting here or anything like that, I'm going to make a plug for this guy because he's put in a lot of work and I'm super proud of him for all of his accomplishments, especially this year alone. And we're only in March as of today. Today is March 1st. What's up? You see that thingy in the background? That is a canvas of his Dragon Eye sigil. If you noticed him drinking out of his coffee cup, that also has the Dragon Eye sigil. That could be yours if you go and check out his website and follow the link so you can purchase it. It helps support his channel, helps support what content he can create and bring to you guys. And if you're enjoying these streams, you know, this is just a small, like, laid back, easygoing, you know, fun time for all of us to get together and learn a little bit more, but in a more relaxed atmosphere. Go check out his streams on YouTube. My ugly mug's not on it, so you don't have to worry about my smart ass comments other than when I'm actually in the comment section, you know, giving him shit. And, you know, check out his Tuesday videos, check out his Friday postings, go check out his website, go check out his Instagram, check out his Twitter. He posts updates constantly. Go join his Facebook Facebook page. It has information about the channel, his YouTube channel, his website, anything that he's working on, he posts up on there. I'm super proud of this guy. He has done so much great for the community, and he has like helped me out. And he's just, I'm super proud of you, Drake. This is great. 2020 is your year.
Am I the only one
I have to do it.
thinking she's saying I don't plug myself enough?
You don't, but I'm your hype man, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
And now that I have done my hyping for the day, I'm going to say let's sign off. So if you guys are here over at my channel, thank you for joining me over here at Caffeine and Chaos for the Magical Coffee Hour. That handsome devil to my left, and I guess I'm on his right or something like that, on his screen.
Yeah, something like that.
That's Drake, the working dragon mystic. Those of you guys who are on his channel, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for dropping in, giving us questions, making comments, laughing at me for getting bang up my nose because I'm an idiot. Thanks, guys. Drake, any parting thoughts?
No, I think we've said it all. Join us in the Friday stream. It's a blast. And see you next week.
All right. Stay caffeinated, cause some chaos, and keep it magical, guys. Bye.
Bye.